I think the first thing to be said is we don't need to overreact to this. I don't think it was that bad a performance. I think if we were 10 minutes away, similar to Sutton away, we were so close to having a different conversation this morning and what would have been, a great away battling performance. I think we weren't as dangerous going forward as we have been in the past, particularly over this recent run. But I think on the whole, we looked pretty solid most of the time. I think we made them look pretty average, considering they're fourth and beaten at home, only lost 1 in 16. I think now is it. I don't think they looked that dangerous. I think it was a decent performance. We were outdone by a moment of just brilliance. It was a great finish for their goal. You could say McAleer's tracking back wasn't the best, and we could have closed down the guy on the edge of the box, but I don't think it was that bad. And listening to the post-match interviews from Connor Wood and from Nigel, I think they echoed that. I think players particularly will tell you if the performance hasn't been that great, and you could see he was really disappointed, and felt that we were unfortunate not to get a point out of yesterday. I think there was a number of factors that didn't help. The pitch looked awful, absolutely terrible, and I don't think that helped either side. But yeah, I don't think it was as bad a performance as maybe some people might be thinking. I think we were a tad unlucky, to be fair.
I can't remember ever going to Barrow and the pitch being in good condition, to be fair. Always seem to play Barrow this weekend. I think it's the third or fourth time Tranmere, since they started playing Barrow again in 2015, have played Barrow away in the first weekend or early January. I remember certainly the 9th of January was the trip there for the 4-3. I think they went there on the 6th of January previously as well. So once again, going to Barrow in early January, and the weather definitely taken its toll on that pitch. And that is why, to me, it was a little bit of a surprise to see Walker and Wood come back into that starting lineup on a heavy pitch that was going to take something out of your legs. It was going to possibly enhance the risk of a tweak in the muscles or whatever it was that they had. I was surprised a little bit to see them come into the starting line. We'll come on to that in a moment. Is it too simplistic to simply say that Tranmere's good form was down to having Rob Apter in the starting lineup and him being an exceptional player, and the moment he goes out of the team, they don't create chances and they don't win?
It plays a part for sure. You could see we didn't have that transition that Apter provided us with yesterday, but I don't think our good form was solely down to him. I think the likes of Walker and Hendry coming into great form, Jennings being unstoppable, the Jordan Turnbull and Tom Davis again recapturing their form. I think that has a bigger part to play in that good run that we had. Yes, Apter was a part of it without a doubt, but he wasn't the reason we lost that game yesterday. I think even he would have struggled to create a huge amount. Running with the ball on that pitch, I can only imagine must have been a real task. So I think it is too simplistic to say he's the reason that our performance wasn't what it has been yesterday. I think it was a very, very different game yesterday from some of the teams that we've played recently. Like if you compare that Barrow to Notts County, it's night and day. They're not in the same the same league, but not in the same league in terms of the quality of the football that they play. So I think whilst he brought an awful lot to the team, I don't think he's the reason why our turn in form came around. No, definitely not. I think it's far too simplistic to look at it that way.
The fact is, though, that Tranmere created much more chances with him in the team than they did without him yesterday. It's a small sample size because we're only talking about one game post Rob Apter at the moment. But the fact is that they won 7 of 11 games that he started, and the first game that he misses, they go and lose, and they don't create a grand deal of chances. And for me, this is where it was a real surprise with the starting lineup, which is what we need to come on to. Rhys McAleer played really well in central midfield against Notts County, and he did really well when he came on in that position, replacing Brad Walker against Harrogate. So there was a definite argument to keep him in the team. I don't think anyone made that argument to keep him in the team on the right side of midfield where Rob Apter had been playing. Now, Chris, you might be able to throw some reasons at me as to why that tactically was done. You might have some logic behind it, but for me, the obvious replacement was to play someone like Josh Hawkes, because you wanted someone who could take a little bit of the pressure off Kieran Morris on the left-hand side, so that Morris had a little bit more freedom and could continue playing in the successful and dynamic way that he has been in recent weeks. And you wanted someone who could continue being the attacking threat down the right-hand side and therefore create chances for whoever was in the front too. Now, when I initially saw the lineup, my kind of feeling was maybe it's going to be Saunders who plays down the right wing, and they'll play McAleer just off Jennings, which is a possibility as to how they could line up. And obviously that's not how it transpired. But I just felt you needed that pace and that directness down the right-hand flank that certainly a Saunders would provide, if not the end product. But definitely we know Hawkes has that end product, if not necessarily the same directness as Rob Apter. Now, there was no like-for-like replacement in the squad for Rob Apter. There's probably no team in the division who has a like-for-like replacement for Rob Apter. But my feeling was you would try and get as close to him as you could. And that was probably Hawkes, if not Taylor, within the squad. And you therefore aren't having to change too much tactically about what you're doing. But Tranmere did change tactically what their approach was yesterday. They went a little bit more negative and they didn't create any chances and they didn't score any goals.